The Mosque Cathedral of Cordova is the most important monument of all the Western Islamic world, and one of the most amazing in the world. The evolution of the Umayyad style in Spain is resumed in the history of the Mosque of Cordova, as well as other styles such as the Gothic, Renaissance, and Baroque of the Christian architecture. It seems as if the place that the Mosque Cathedral of Cordova occupies nowadays was dedicated, from ancient times, to the cult of different divinities. In this same place, and during the Visigothic occupation, another building was constructed, the St. Vincent Basilica. On top of this basilica, and after paying for half of the site, the primitive mosque was constructed. This basilica, of rectangular shape, was shared for a period of time between Muslims and Christians. After the Muslim enlargement, the basilica became property of Abderrahman I, who destroyed it to construct the first Mosque al-Hamma, or main mosque of the city. Nowadays, some of the constructive elements of the Visigothic building are integrated in the first part of Abderrahman I. The Great Mosque has two different areas: the courtyard, or Arcade Sahan, where the Al-Minar, or minaret, is constructed beneath the Renaissance tower by Abd al-Rahman III, and the Haram, or praying hall. The interior space consists of a forest of columns and red and white arches, giving a strong chromatic effect. The site is divided into 5 different areas, corresponding each one of them to the different expansions that have occurred on it. Abderrahman I built in 785 a colossal hall consisting of 11 longitudinal naves, going from north to south, and 110 columns, the capitals and fustes of which were reused from old Roman and Visigothic materials. These elements stand out because they are placed at different heights, due to the way the hall was constructed. This first mosque has an unorthodox orientation, facing south, like the Great Mosque of Damascus. Several explanations have been proposed to explain this fact. Some suggest this is because of the sandy riverbed, which made it impossible to build the mosque the Orthodox way, that is, orientated towards Mecca. Inside, the niche for prayer gets all the focal attention. Another singular characteristic of the Mosque of Cordova is the use of horseshoe arches, which are original of the Visigothic art. These elements were then introduced in the Islamic architecture, becoming a symbol of their style. The naves are divided by double arches to help support the weight of the higher ceilings. The double arches, then an architectonic novelty, consist of a lower horseshoe arch and an upper semicircular arch. The alternating brick and stone elements, red and white, give the Mosque of Cordova a distinctiveness that will be maintained in later constructions. The double arcades provide greater height within the hall and a better illumination of the interior spaces. The origin of this singular constructed method, by raising the ceilings using double arches, appears to be inspired by the Roman aqueduct of Merida. The successor of Abderrahman I was his son Hichem I, who was in charge of constructing the first Al-Minar, the minaret or tower used for calling to prayer, of the Mosque of Cordova with a rectangular floor plan hall. Hichem I was also in charge of building the women's galleries for prayer, and also the construction of the first ablution basin. These alterations completed what became, for the history of Muslim architecture, the first mosque of this town. Later, owing to the increase of the faithful and the ruler's love for the grandiose, the mosque will have numerous expansions and reforms until it reached its current state.